Actually, I hesitated between those two lines of the song, but I thought master and servant was just too obvious because it was more explaining exactly what we see. And I thought the line just before, it's a lot like life, was more an opening and more like a metaphor. It's a bit kind of a definition of painting, if we can see it that way. Whereas painting comes from reality, it deals with reality, but at the end it's only fiction, it's a pure illusion. It could be life, it looks like life, or the sensation we have in life, but it's not life, it's only painting. So it's a bit this grey area where we have emotions related to a painting that is very close to life, but we're only looking at something that is a pure fiction. The dogs came maybe 12 years ago in my work as a human character depicting human behavior. So the idea of just working with those animals are really just an accessible way, just like a friendly way. Then through this cartoon, through this mask, I can bring different issues, but it never really becomes completely pathetic. It always stays somehow harmless, but slowly there's other contents that are growing inside. But it's only possible within the mask of the animal. In the recent work, I think it's more the comedy. So there's another layer of comedy because also of the color that are very, this yellow and this pink, and it brings a different sensation than dark colors. But I think what I'm interested in with these colors and these added layer of beauty, of so-called beauty, is that it can become even more grotesque. It's also really dealing with abstraction, because when you look at the different series and some of them really look the same, then you have to look back at painting and see the variations. And this is really a theme in abstract painting, where little things makes everything different, but you really have to be focused on what is happening. So you need time. And so after you see, okay, there's one dog, there's another dog, and once you've seen that, I think it's important to come back and look what is painting actually working on. And this is really close to what is abstraction in painting. So the unknown, touching the unknown, or trying to go in depth into painting. And the bright colors really was just a way to contradict somehow the subject that would be in front, and for some reason I started to paint a little bit differently when I moved to France, and I worked on the backgrounds first, and then I put the subject on it. And before I would work together, the same thing in the same time. And so it was really trying to have a different approach to the subject. So it will be detached somehow. So in the previous work, I would do landscape behind, but this I really wanted the focus on the subject. I grew up with dogs, and I love them. Sometimes I like to play with the naivety of the dog eye, And sometimes, because we are humans, we project our emotions into the animals. And this is something very playful. And I like to keep this childish way to look at things. So the way you look at a dog, you go back to childhood to be at his level of understanding, just like you do with a little kid. So I think it's interesting to sometimes to forget about your knowledge, about what you have learned, and to approach painting just like you would approach something that is harmless. You know, this first layer where you just open, you know.